All right. Good evening, Dr. Kelly. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing well. How are you, Diana?
I'm doing very well. So I'm interviewing you for the Global Lions Club as we are interviewing three faculty members for our faculty spotlight. So would you mind just introducing yourself and explaining what you do at the school?
Okay, absolutely. My name is Dr. Karen Kelly. I am in the Department of Psychology and Counseling. I teach in both the undergraduate and the graduate program, and I'm considered to be what is called a generalist, meaning I sort of have general skills throughout the field of psychology as opposed to a clinician who works specifically with patients and clients.
All right, thank you. So where did you live, study, teach? Where did you go abroad?
Okay, I went abroad to a little town in Germany called Konstanz. It's
Mhm.
on the border of Germany and Switzerland, right? Sort of in the sort of area near the Swiss Alps.
All right, how long were you there for?
Initially, I was there for about 3 months, and then I went back and visited and stayed for much longer later after I graduated. So I initially went and studied abroad there as an undergraduate for about 3 months, or I guess it was closer to 4 months, um, and then went back later on in my 20s and spent about 6 months there.
All right. So what are some lessons that you learned while you were abroad? While you were abroad?
Interesting. What are some lessons I learned? Well, I learned that it's very important to um, it's very important to connect with the people who live in the country that you're visiting. It's
Mhm.
very important to connect with um, sort of who they are and how they live their lives. I think it's very informative and very interesting. And so learning that lesson was really great. And I felt like I really did learn that lesson very well while I was there because I did make friends with many of the German students who were living in the same dorm that I was living in. So that was a big lesson. And also, I think just sort of how to sort of take in the beauty of the world, I think is something that I began to appreciate more on that trip than I had on previous trips. So just sort of um, learning how to interact with the world in a way that really allows you to appreciate it.
Right, that's cool. So what, if you can recall, what classes did you take when you were abroad?
Interesting. What classes did I? Oh gosh, I know I took German. I was
Right.
taking German literature and a writing course in German. And unfortunately, I don't really, this is 30 years ago, so I don't really remember what the other courses were, but certainly there was a literature course in German that I remember pretty well.
Oh, that's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
so what was the main difference that you found between the education system in America versus in Germany?
Oh, well, strangely enough, I can't really answer that question because the trip that I did, the study abroad that I did was actually hosted by professors from Rutgers University, where I did my
Oh, okay.
undergrad. So we sort of transported a portion of the school to Germany. So I was really sort of getting a similar education to what I got at Rutgers. So it's I can't really answer that question.
All right. So what was your favorite part about studying abroad?
Oh, my favorite part. Certainly being able to speak the language was wonderful. And I really enjoyed trying to communicate with people as best I could with the language. I loved that. And I loved the experience it gave me getting to know people as well. Um, and I think just traveling around while I was there too sort of sticks with me. Being able to take little day trips here and there and just sort of, as I said before, just sort of experience a different part of the world. It was just wonderful.
Right. So would you recommend studying abroad or for professors teaching abroad? And if so, why?
Oh, I would absolutely recommend studying abroad. I think it is a fantastic experience that teaches you so much, not only about the world, but about who you are in the world. And it's such a wonderful experience. So I would absolutely recommend it as highly as possible.
When you came back to the States, did you kind of find yourself experiencing a culture shock?
Um, that's an interesting question. Not that I really remember. Um, I don't really remember feeling a culture shock. Not that I can recall.
All right. So, well, those were all the questions that I had. Thank you very much, Dr. Kelly, for doing this
Of
interview.
course. My pleasure.